Radical Acceptance. Embracing Your Life with the Heart of a Buddha by Tara Brach teaches you to accept yourself and your emotions without judgment, to heal psychological trauma, and find inner peace through practices of mindfulness and compassion. It combines Buddhist principles with psychotherapy, offering a path to liberation from the feeling of inadequacy. It is worth reading to learn to live in harmony with yourself, cope with shame and fear, and unlock the joy of life. Tara Brach, a psychotherapist and meditation teacher, wrote the book in 2003, inspired by her personal experience of overcoming anxiety and her clients' stories, which gives it depth. The book became a bestseller, translated into dozens of languages, and has high ratings on online platforms. 4.8 out of 5. Users on X, formerly Twitter, call it life-changing, although some consider the approach too spiritual. Part 1. The Trance of Unworthiness, the Roots of Our Pain. Rule 1. The Sacred Pause. Resting in the present. Your mind often runs away from the present, causing anxiety and self-criticism, but a pause helps you return to yourself. Practice the sacred pause method, stopping for a minute to notice your breath and body sensations. Accept your emotions without judgment, allowing them to find peace. Ask yourself, what is happening inside me right now? Note how this calms your heart. Every time you feel stress, stop and breathe deeply 10 times. For example, ask, what am I feeling? And observe without evaluation. Record sensations after the pause. This brings you back to the moment. For example, pause before a meeting and notice how the anxiety subsides. Or feel anger and simply observe it, noting how it dissolves. The pause is a sanctuary. This chapter teaches you to return to yourself through breath. Rule 2, the ghosts of unworthiness. The feeling of unworthiness makes you doubt yourself, but it can be overcome through awareness. Notice thoughts such as, I am not good enough, and ask, where do they come from? Practice the observing without merging method, separating yourself from these thoughts to weaken their power. Tell yourself, I am more than my doubts. Note how this liberates you. Every day, write down one self-critical thought and its source. For example, repeat, I am whole in front of a mirror. Observe thoughts without believing them. This reduces their power. For example, catch the thought, I will fail, and recall successes, noticing confidence. Or write down a doubt and disprove it, noting relief. Awareness is light. This chapter teaches you to see doubts so you can let them go. Rule 3, shame. The armor of the trance of unworthiness. Shame blocks self-acceptance, forcing you to hide from the world, but it can be mitigated with compassion. Acknowledge shame by naming it, for example, I feel shame, to lessen its grip. Practice the softening method, imagining you are embracing yourself with warmth to comfort the pain. Share shame with a trusted person to heal. Note how this opens your heart. When you feel shame, say, this is shame, and place your hand on your heart. For example, share an experience with a friend to feel connected. Embrace yourself mentally. This heals wounds. For example, acknowledge shame for a mistake at work and comfort yourself, noticing peace. Or tell a friend about an awkward moment and note how it brought you closer. Compassion is balm. This chapter teaches you to soften shame through warmth. Rule 4, fear, the gateway to full presence. Fear signals resistance, but it can be used as a path to mindfulness. Feel fear in the body. For example, tension in the chest, instead of running away from it. Practice the welcoming fear method, saying, I see you, fear, to accept it with curiosity. Breathe slowly so that fear becomes a guide to the present. Note how this makes you braver. Notice where fear lives in the body and breathe into that spot. For example, say, fear, you are here, and relax. Practice this for 5 minutes a day. This opens presence. For example, feel fear before a conversation and breathe, noticing how it subsides. Or accept anxiety before an exam and note how it added clarity. Fear is a teacher. This chapter teaches you to meet it, to live more fully. Overall conclusion for part 1. The first part of the book reveals how the trance of unworthiness, fueled by shame and fear, keeps you trapped, but awareness and compassion can set you free. Practices such as the sacred pause, observing without merging, softening and welcoming fear teach you to stop, notice emotions, and accept them with warmth, to dissolve pain and return to yourself. These methods show that acceptance is not weakness, but a strength that begins with simple steps, from breathing to a kind word to oneself, creating space for love and peace. This approach inspires you to start small, one pause or a glance at fear to heal your heart and achieve inner freedom. Part 2, awakening through radical acceptance. Rule 5, unconditional friendliness, the path of radical acceptance. Your heart opens when you treat yourself with kindness instead of judging yourself. Practice the loving kindness method, repeating phrases such as, "May I be safe," to cultivate warmth toward yourself. Notice moments of self-criticism and replace them with gentle words of support. Direct kindness to others as well to strengthen connection. Note how this softens inner pain. Every morning, repeat for 5 minutes, "May I be happy." For example, catch criticism and say, "I am doing the best I can." Wish a friend well mentally. This opens the heart. For example, replace the thought, "I am a failure," with "I am learning," and notice the relief. Or wish a colleague happiness and note how it improved communication. Kindness is a bridge. This chapter teaches you to love yourself, to heal. Rule 6, the reign of compassion, releasing the pain. Compassion for your own pain dissolves suffering, allowing you to accept yourself completely. Use the RAIN method, where you recognize the feelings, allow them, investigate with gentle curiosity, and nurture with self-compassion. Name the emotions, for example, "This is sadness," and comfort yourself like a friend. Allow tears or pain to be present so they can leave. Note how this frees the soul. When you feel pain, say, "This is normal," and embrace yourself mentally. For example, apply RAIN, noticing sadness, and comfort yourself. Breathe into the area of pain. This washes away heaviness. For example, allow sadness after an argument and comfort yourself, noticing peace. Or apply RAIN to anxiety and note how it subsided. Compassion is healing. This chapter teaches you to embrace pain, to be free. Rule 7, see what is, the awakening of mindfulness. Mindfulness helps you see reality without distortion, opening the path to acceptance. Practice the body scan method, paying attention to sensations in every part of the body to return to the moment. Notice thoughts and feelings without attachment, like clouds in the sky. Meditate 10 minutes a day to strengthen attention. Note how this clarifies the mind. Every evening, scan the body, noticing tension or warmth. For example, observe thoughts without reacting during a walk. Meditate, focusing on the breath. This restores clarity. For example, feel your feet on the ground while walking and notice the tranquility. Or meditate before sleep and note how it calmed thoughts. Mindfulness is a lens. This chapter teaches you to see the world without filters. Rule 8, open heart, living love. Love for yourself and others blossoms when you accept vulnerability and pain. Practice the open presence method, listening to loved ones without judgment or advice to deepen the connection. Forgive yourself for mistakes, seeing them as part of the human experience. Share kindness through small gestures, such as a smile. Note how this fills life with warmth. Listen to a friend for 5 minutes without interrupting, with full attention. For example, forgive yourself for a blunder, saying, "I am human." Smile at a passerby. This strengthens love. For example, listen to a colleague and notice how it brought you closer. Or forgive yourself for being sharp and note how it brought peace. Love is a flow. This chapter teaches you to open your heart for intimacy. Overall conclusion for part 2. The second part of the book shows how radical acceptance through kindness, compassion, mindfulness, and love dissolves pain and opens the path to an authentic life. Practices such as loving kindness, rain, body scanning, and open presence teach you to treat yourself with warmth, see emotions clearly, comfort suffering, and build deep connections with others, creating a space for healing. These methods emphasize that acceptance is not passivity, but an active choice that begins with simple actions, from a kind word to attentive breathing, and leads to a life full of meaning and closeness. This approach inspires you to start small, a smile to yourself, or a moment of mindfulness to awaken your heart and find the freedom to be yourself. Part 3, realizing our true nature. Rule 9, the truth sets us free. Exploring desire. Your desires show the path to an authentic life, but you must be aware of them so as not to become their slave. Practice the mindful desire method, noticing what you want. For example, recognition and asking, what will this give me? Accept desires without judgment, but choose actions that lead to inner peace. Meditate to distinguish superficial from deep aspirations. Note how this frees you. Every day, write down one desire and its true goal. For example, meditate for 5 minutes, focusing on what drives you. Act in the direction of deep desires, such as love. This clarifies the path. For example, notice the desire to buy an expensive item. Understand you seek respect, and instead compliment yourself, noticing satisfaction. Or realize the craving for rest and take a walk, noting joy. Truth is a compass. This chapter teaches you to listen to desires, to live freely. Rule 10, awakening from the sleep of ego. The ego creates the illusion of separateness, but accepting your vulnerability opens a connection with the world. Practice the observing ego method, noticing thoughts such as I am better than others, and letting them go without a fight. Meditate on unity. Imagine yourself as part of the whole. To dissolve boundaries, ask yourself, who am I beyond my roles? Note how this deepens awareness. Every morning, observe one ego thought, for example, pride, and let it go. For example, meditate for 10 minutes, feeling a connection with nature. Ask, what remains without my I? This expands your view. For example, catch the thought, I am right, in an argument. Let it go, and notice the relief. Or meditate, imagining yourself as part of the world, and note the feeling of unity. Unity is awakening. This chapter teaches you to see beyond the ego. Rule 11, together in presence. Radical acceptance in relationships. Relationships deepen when you accept others without the desire to change them. Practice the deep listening method, being fully present in the conversation without judgment or advice. Forgive the mistakes of loved ones, seeing their human nature to strengthen the bond. Share your vulnerability to build trust. Note how this brings hearts closer. Listen to a friend for 5 minutes without interrupting. For example, forgive a partner for being sharp, understanding their stress. Open up by talking about your fear. This builds intimacy. For example, listen to a colleague without advice and notice how they opened up. Or share your anxiety with a friend and note how it strengthened the friendship. Acceptance is connection. This chapter teaches you to love others as they are. Rule 12, awareness of the preciousness of life. Life becomes full when you appreciate every moment and accept its fragility. Practice the grateful presence method, daily noticing 3 things that bring joy to increase awareness. Live through difficulties with an open heart, seeing them as lessons. Celebrate simple moments, such as a sunset. Note how this fills life with meaning. Every evening, write 3 reasons for gratitude. For example, accept a difficult day, asking, what does it teach? Enjoy a small thing, like coffee. This reveals beauty. For example, be grateful for a child's smile and notice the warmth in your soul. Or accept a breakdown at work as a lesson and note how it added wisdom. Gratitude is light. This chapter teaches you to appreciate life in its fullness. Overall conclusion, the The third part of the book shows how radical acceptance helps you move beyond the ego, deepen relationships, and appreciate life, revealing your authentic essence. Practices such as mindful desire, observing ego, deep listening, and grateful presence teach you to understand your aspirations, see unity with the world, accept others, and find joy in every day, creating a path to freedom and love. These methods emphasize that the authentic life begins with awareness and openness, where every step from writing down gratitude to an honest conversation brings you closer to harmony and the fullness of being. This approach inspires you to start small, a smile to yourself or a moment of mindfulness to awaken to a life that shines with meaning and connection. This is such a wonderful book. I have compiled a separate list of all the important theses from this book, along with all the techniques and tools, and created a step-by-step action plan that you can immediately implement in your life. You can get all this in my community, Place of Power. There, you will find a detailed text analysis with similar lists for each book being reviewed. The community has already thoroughly analyzed and made available to you hundreds of world bestsellers, with a new analysis released every day. Follow the link in the description and use it.